Dr. Kelly, welcome to the Intrinsic Podcast. I'm very excited to have a conversation with you and not only learn, but explore some new trending might not be the right word, but some new data that's science-backed, experience-driven that you can help share with the audience. So you are one of the leading neuroscientists in the UK, and you have a focus on addiction, recovery, trauma, which deals with childhood issues, spiraling upwards into adulthood and how that lingers onwards into our everyday course of life. I certainly can relate being in recovery myself. And so I suppose one question that I had to lead in with is you have what you deem to be a golden rule, and alcoholic and the drug of choice, alcohol being more hereditary driven, and drug is a choice. Did I explain that accurately?
Alcohol, well, this is what we say, alcoholics are born, drug addicts are men. People freak out about that, but our research shows that an alcoholic is born. So they're born with three parts of the brain that differ to any other addiction, which is hypothalamus, basal ganglia, and the amygdala. We also have an allergy that we're born with to the ethanol in alcohol, to the ethanol in alcohol. So as we go through life, our basal ganglia, which is our repetition, strength, and confirms part of the brain, plays a part. We'll explain later. Whereas a drug addict has the addictive personality. So how do we know this? Well, our records from the past 30 years have shown that 93% of people that come into my practice with heroin addiction started in the doctor's office. So nobody goes out one day and when you take the first drug, better off if you're a real alcoholic, okay? When you take the first drugs, no, we take more, we become addicted to personality, and we become addicted to the drug of our choice. So they both show up the same, but it's just that neuroscience tells us that they do differ. And it's really important that we know that, because alcoholic is spread around so easily. And well, Jimmy around the corner, he drinks every day, he's an alcoholic. Well, first of all, alcoholism is the only self-diagnosed illness. 10 DWIs do not make me an alcoholic. It's something that happens when I drink alcohol, gets in my system, that I behave and act differently. So it's important if you know this. Now, heavy drinkers and people who abuse alcohol, they show up the same with the layman eye. But you've got to trace it 3 generations back. You've got to ask questions like, when you said the first time, can you stop? I couldn't stop towards the end. Years and years towards the end. So I knew there was something differently that nobody else had discovered and nobody else had researched, because there's no money in getting people well. Can't give you a pill, stick you in a treatment center now, you're no good to anybody.
Right.
You know? No, I mean, the pharmaceutical companies, they're not here to help. The food companies are not. We're on our own.
Right. Yeah, sure. You go to the doctor, and, when I was in inpatient rehab, a lot of the the folks in there for opioid addiction were prescribed methadone. And they were, the withdrawals for methadone were, from what I understand, it gets into your bones and the marrow of your bones, and correct me where I'm off here, but the witnessing their withdrawals was almost impossibly difficult. And that was prescribed by their doctors. That was prescribed by the system.
Yeah, because that's how doctors and pharmaceutical companies earn their money. The question is to everybody, have you ever been to the doctor, ever, with an illness or ailment, is give you a pill to cure it so you don't have to take the pill ever again? No, you've never done that. Right. Why? Well, not stupid here. We know why. If you're on methadone or Suboxone coming off heroin, I agree 100%. But it's a taper. If you're still on that stuff a year after or 6 months after, the brain doesn't know the difference between pharmaceutical drugs and street drugs. So are you really getting better, or are you still dependent on a drug that's keeping you sick? And the answer is, it's a freaking taper. If you're still on it, get to your doctor and ask him to come off it. Don't stay on that if you want to live, because you're never going to live your life to the full when you're taking that stuff.
Right. Yeah. And living life to the full is an interesting concept, right? Because when we talk about success. There shouldn't be like when we retain or obtain a goal, I have the trophy. That's finite, right? And then my dopamine levels, there's a little bit of a depression, a letdown, a deep breath saying, oh, I've achieved this. But true success, from my view currently, is there is no pinnacle to our success. It's an ever, an ongoing search with an upwards aim, whatever that may be for the individual. So success, really, there is no pinnacle. And that's part of this addiction and recovery piece too, is like, there is no end game to this. There's no end goal. There's no end state goal. It's a day in and day out, every day learning sort of mindset. And so that kind of brings me to a question that I have for you that I've been wanting to ask. So my whole world has been, I'm a former minor league baseball player, surrounded by high octane, right? So sleep when you're dead. If you cry, you're weak. No brake pad. Keep that foot down on the gas pedal. And then I transitioned into a filmmaker out of Los Angeles, another high octane industry. And so with that being said, I've seen throughout my 25 years in these two industries, I've seen a lot of high performers, a lot of actors, directors, entertainers, producers, professional athletes, business owners, entrepreneurs, all fall to addiction. And I'm curious your viewpoint on what sort of, is it our childhood trauma? Is it our personality traits? We all need something to run from and something to run to. Like, what, through your vast experience, do you see any sort of connectivity between high performers, let's just say on a broad stroking term here, and addiction? Like, what is it that people like us have inside of our world, inside of our brain and our mind, that allows us to become addicts?
Well, the chase, the complacent obviously jumps in. Childhood trauma is the gateway drug. And what you'll find, I have a saying that if you're an idiot when you're poor, you're going to be an idiot when you're rich. You know, money changes you. And for a long time, I'll be real honest with you, Eric. I chased money because I thought if I had $20 million in the bank, I would be happy. But I did, and I wasn't. So that was a big learning curve. And the highlight in my life was getting my children 4 years ago after 30 years. But you've got to always be developing a way. So anybody that's any good at anything has the addictive personality. So,
Okay.
and you'll understand this. Same with the baseball. We're either all in or we're all out. That's the addictive personality. It's like we're going to do something or we don't. Like there's no middle. Well, I kind of play, no. We're either pregnant or we're not. We don't play games. So when we do something, we have to focus on whatever we do it, and we convince the basal ganglia that we can do it as it goes round and round. The repetition standard confirms. With alcoholics and drug addicts, it's broken. The basal ganglia is broken. If you imagine a clock face, 10 after, we start doing something to quarter past, we self-sabotage, relapse. Half past, we get the kids back. 22, you get off of the job, and at 10 to the hour, we self-sabotage. That goes back to the childhood trauma. You see this a lot when, especially girls, when they're growing up 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and they watch dad coming home every week, sometimes drunk 3 and 4 times a week. And then you get into a fist fight, isn't one. And that fist fight, obviously, she's concerned about mom. But the next day, mom and dad, I love you. Oh, I love you too, baby. See you later. So that girl is programmed that's love. So when she leaves the house, and you don't even know this now because you think that's normal as a kid. But when you leave the house, you're going to attract the same guy, just like your mom did, because you've seen it. And it's weird how this happens. Ends up beating you and ends up, all that stuff. To the point that if she finds a good guy, she will self-sabotage that relationship. And that's what we do as we go through life. We aim, we get complacency, we sit back a little bit, we might lose something, and we're always chasing the next thing. Now, again, that goes back to childhood trauma. But I can say for the last 4 years, I have what a lot of people don't have. And that is enough. I have enough. I don't give a shit what people think about me. I have enough. And I live on today. I have no idea what my tomorrow's like. I'll get that at 9 o'clock tonight from my assistant. I don't even remember yesterday. It's gone. There's no point. So if you could start living, the definition of an insanity is not what you think it is. The definition of insanity is me not being able to see my own truth.
Oh, there you go.
So again, when you're a dick when you're poor, you're going to be a dick when you're rich. So it's about, how do I live my best life today by giving back? How do I achieve, let's say it's be CEO of the company, you're a manager. How do it? There's a pathway and 100% achievement for that. There really is. But once we get there, we're never graduating, guys. There's always somebody to help. There's always somebody to make somebody's day. That's why I do podcasts and TikTok. You'll never see me advertise on TikTok. Oh yeah, come on, patient, come to my company. Shut up. Why would you do that? I got millions of dollars. The company's a multi-million-dollar company, I have 4 of them. We do this to change somebody's life. And when you're trying to change your life a day, you will never get complacent and the chasing will stop. And you will gradually rise through the ranks quicker than you thought you would. People walk around about 45% of their capability and capacity. That's it. 98% of human beings walk around thinking this is their lot, this is it to life, when you can get to 100%. We reprogram minds, reset basal ganglia and the hypothalamus, and get rid of the trauma with the amygdala and set a new life. Anybody can do this. But again, the childhood trauma is the gateway drug. That's what kills us on the end. And people, these are the worst people. These are the worst people. So what about your childhood? Yeah, I dealt with that. Really? Well, anything you've done in the past with any therapist pertaining to childhood trauma is not enough. That's why you're studying front. It's old school. You've got to get neuroscience in the game. You've got to get 9D breathwork therapy. You've got to get brain spotting. You've got to get all these things to change the way you think today. Every decision while suffering from childhood trauma is based on past. So as the basal ganglia picks it up, no matter what we're doing, we know it's going to go to shit. And you often hear alcoholics say, I'm going to do you first because I know you're going to do me. I'm going to do you wrong right now because I know that you're eventually going to do. And that mindset, man, is horrible to live like that.
Yeah, you're right. It's finite. I can, a lot of that is so palpable for me because I had to dig down into my past and look at those demons and bring them to surface. And, when a new patient comes in to see you, you speak a lot about, you can tell when somebody's ready. And then conversely, you can also tell when somebody's not ready. And so is it your view? I mean, through my process, I went to rehab the first time and it did not work because I wasn't ready. And it was outpatient and I was forced. I was placed in a dilemma of my own doings because I was the one drinking. So mom took the kids from me and now I'm left with a choice, either go to rehab or not. But it wasn't voluntary. So throughout your practice, when somebody comes in and says, I think I need help, or you have a parent or a loved one bring somebody into your practice and you're going through that evaluation process, can you just at a high level walk me through what that looks like? Because I know you require accountability, check-ins, it's highly catered to the individual and customized to them. So you're not a one size fits all by any stretch of the imagination. How can you tell when somebody's ready?
So classic, parents bring child, or parents bring 17, 25, 30-year-old kids in, and you sit in the waiting room and the parents are all up to what, they've got checkbooks in there on their age still, don't even know how much it is, which is a fortune to come in with me. Because I'm concierge, I see 3 patients every 3 months. That's all I see. Is to talk to the parents first of all, a quick chat. Okay, this is Johnny, great stuff. Okay, and you brought here, great. Okay, let's come on, Johnny, come with me. And I sit him down, I lie back, and I put my feet on the desk, and I'm laid back, and I'm chilling out, and I say, hey, what the fuck is wrong with your parents? Why are they idiots or what? Why did they bring you here? You don't want to come here, do you? I know they just brought me here. I stand up, I go to the parents, say he's not ready yet. We'll see you again. And we send them up. Please don't get no. We turned down more people. I turned down a single once for $1 million. She wasn't ready, and I'm not gonna compromise my program. And you have to pass this assessment, by the way, before we take you on. And your family needs to come on because it's a family illness. I've done all sorts of tricks. And when somebody comes in, even when they're not ready, when they sit in front of us and we get excited about recovery and we're telling them what they can achieve, and you want to buy in, you want to get in this, we're going to do this. 9 times out of 10, they go, shit, yeah, let's do it. We got it. We've got them right there. Okay. And then we tell the parents, you have to come on board. You're separate. Nobody talks about little John here. And if it's the man and wife, where there's, say, the man's an alcoholic, the wife needs to come on. And you often hear them say, well, it's his problem, not mine. No, you're suffering from PTSD or childhood trauma from this that's going. Oh, I think you're wrong. Really? Answer me something, Mrs. Smith. Why do you allow your husband to come home at least 2 or 3 times a week drunk and beat you in front of your children? And it's here start. It's like everybody needs to be ready. Everybody needs 100% commitment. I mean, well, basically 1 hour a day, 7 days a week, 30 days for 90 days. Okay, 1 hour a day. But there's lots of other accountabilities. You have to film yourself going to the gym. You have to stand near a newspaper. You take photographs here. First thing in the morning, you check in, make sure you're up. A video of you doing your breath work. You're texting 6 or 7 times a day. Because when you text in, the accountability is right there for that 10 seconds. And that's all we need. So I can tell someone's an alcoholic or someone as a drug from about a mile away. I don't know why or how. I've never been wrong. Freaks my wife out. But you just know the way they walk in. And if you've got mouthy parents, which you usually have, because all they want to do is throw some money at you and blame you if it goes wrong.
Sure.
When there's no fix. I mean, everybody knows until you're ready, then you're not going to be ready. And then you're going, we have 3 or 4 treatment centers we work at, but the treatment center success rate is between 3 and 12%. We're 99% now. So what are you teaching in them places? When you allow Johnny to come back to your treatment center for the 3rd time, charging him another 30 grand, what are you teaching in that? Well, and you get this all the time from sponsors. How's he sponsored? Oh, it drank, he died. He died? What? Oh, he just wasn't ready. Bullshit, he wasn't ready. Mr. Sponsor, this is your responsibility. Therapists, doctors, psychologists, it's your responsibility. If you can't help somebody, why are you taking them on just for a check?
Yeah, right.
This is people's lives. This is our fundamental thing, Eric. This is people's fucking lives we're talking about. This ain't a game. This is where you come in for 30 days and dry out and we leave again with no contact. We're not that kind of company. We take you on as family. We make sure that if you want to start a business, we'll build you a website. If you want to get a job, we'll get you a job. We'll build the resumes out. We'll go cycling. We're getting you into that zone. And with 9,500 patients on and millions with my TV stuff and my books and my radio and podcasts that I've helped, I can honestly tell you that everything I say is true because we've tried, tested and researched everything we say or life experience from what me and the millions of other alcoholics, addicts have been through over the years.
Yeah, I love what you just said. So Jordan Peterson helped change my life. I've never met the man. I saw a reel of his and he said, ask yourself one question. What's one thing you're doing wrong that you're doing wrong to screw your life up that you would change, that you could change? That question sat with me. Another piece is from you, where you say, if you're brushing your teeth with your left hand, switch it over to your right. And then can you just walk me through that again real quick? Because I remember when I heard that from you on whichever channel it was, I thought to myself, because when I was in the throes of addiction, I couldn't look myself in the mirror. And I thought that I knew who I was. And I thought that I'm this alpha man, which turned out to be completely a lie, my ego and my pride pumping through my bloodstream. And I wouldn't look myself in the mirror. And then I heard what it is that you're about to explain to us. And I had to sit with that for a minute. But once I started to do it, I could feel immediately things were changing. It was really interesting.
So there's 3 things we ask patients and people to do, and very important. I'll tell you the backstory on why we do it. So a lot of the presence of oxygen in the human being equals a lack of disease. So every disease, cancers, growths, inflammations, all start in a hypoxic area of the body. We only breathe 45% of our lung capacity. The reason we feel so good going to the gym is not the exercise. It's this in between sets, getting the oxygen in. So if we're only breathing 40, 45, 50% of our lung capacity, then something's going wrong. So the cells in the body are not getting the true oxygen they're getting. And it's really important. One of the reasons why nobody's ever woke up laughing, ever, is lack of oxygen. So during the normal circadian rhythm sleep pattern, between 2 and 5 o'clock in the morning is when his body is at the lowest. The body's repairing itself. So when you wake up, you don't have any oxygen hardly. So you wake up a bit groggy maybe, and you go, oh God, because here's what happens. The subconscious brain wakes us up. Why does that happen? The subconscious brain thrives in a hypoxic state. Okay? The idea is we need to get rid of that subconscious brain. This is the guy that's going to kill you. This guy's going to cheat, going to rob, going to do all that stuff that we hate doing from our past that's tied to the trauma. That guy wakes us up. What happens when we do 20 exaggerate that kind of thing is this guy's gone. And the conscious brain thrives in oxygenate around you all the time. So it thrives when there's oxygen around. Now the conscious brain is running the show for 24-ish hours because 3 parts reset every 24 hours. It's not an AA thing, goes way before that. They adopted that saying 24 hours at a time. So let's get the breath work in and do 20 of them. And then the body's ready to go. The mind's alert and ready to go because there's oxygen hitting parts of the body it's never hit before. And you will go crazily dizzy, so sit down or hold on to something. So then we go in, we do our mirror work. Why do we do our mirror work? Most of us in childhood trauma suffer from lack of confidence, lack of thrive, anything like that. We don't think we're pretty and stuff. So you stand 6 feet away from the mirror and say, I love you 10 times. We're getting some self-care and love into the subconscious brain. Don't stand near the mirror, especially girls when you're doing makeup, and start doing I love you 10 times. Because what happens when we move into the mirror is we see all our blemishes and it makes us feel less than. When we stand 6 foot away from the mirror, the blemishes go. Because let's face it, when's the last time you went to work? Hey, Johnny, great to see you. We don't do that. So people don't see us like this and we think we do. The other one to change patterns, because everything's about a pattern, especially when it comes to addiction, is brushing your teeth 1 week right, 1 week left, 1 week right, 1 week left. And it'll redirect the neural pathways out of that pattern that we're in, which is self-sabotage, tied to the childhood trauma. It's like if you've ever been out, guys, let's say to the seaside, to the beach, or the coast, with a bunch of guys. You get out, you have a few drinks, you head down there, you go on all the rides, you act like a clown all day, you've had a few beers, you get back on their bus. Which seat do you sit in? Usually the one you travel there. And you probably never notice that, but that's just a really easy pattern to follow. So if you're in a self-destructive pattern that basically lies in the subconscious brain, you don't know you're doing it. Okay, so we go back to the insanity thing. I can't see my own truth. So when you start these routines and rituals in the morning and throughout the day, the body starts to repair. Add the food to that. Careful what you eat. 95% is sprayed cornstarch, canola oils, rancid oils. Have a look at that. It's really important to look at. And then look at what you're taking from the doctor. I will never go to my doctor for my general health ever again. They have no idea what they're talking. They have. If you're going into it, I'm depressed, right? I go into my doctor, I'm feeling really depressed and down. Well, I just write this script for Wellbutrin. Stop. 2 things I want to ask. First of all, why aren't you asking why I'm depressed, what I'm doing at home, what I'm eating? Just general fucking questions that you're supposed to ask. And secondly, instead of running to the doctor and getting some meds, ask yourself one question. Why is my serotonin low in the first place? Because the definition of depression in the American medical dictionary is lack of serotonin. So if my serotonin is low, I get a false one, mine depletes. There's 4 chemicals, guys, that need to happen every day. Dopamine, oxytocin, serotonin, endorphins. But here's what people don't. Dopamine and serotonin are created in the gut. So if you're eating all rancid oils and shit we can't methylate, You're never going to be happy or perform like you should do. And it's sad when it's really expensive to eat properly. Or as you're going to do when you go in a supermarket and you buy something off the shelf, is just turn it round. If there's more, if it's beans or something, there's more than 3 ingredients, put it back. If the first ingredient is canola oil or sunflower oil, it's rancid. We can't. Rockefeller decided when he had this oil company that the trains were going out of fashion because cars were coming in, and he agreed to create a board, a health board, and convinced everybody that these oils were good for cooking. They're rancid oils. That means if we can't methylate a protein or a food in our diet, normally what we eat regularly, it causes a deficiency. That deficiency causes the illness. And we go round and round and round because nobody is telling the truth. Nobody's being real about this. I don't get into politics, Eric. Nobody's done anything for me in the 63 years I've been alive when it comes to politics. But when Kennedy gets in later this month, first thing he's going to do, how do I know this? Trust me, guys, watch this space. I know it, okay? First of all, they're going to cancel all pharmaceutical commercials on TV. Secondly, we're going to look at the food industry. Why the food industry? When McDonald's, in England, McDonald's has 3 ingredients: water, salt, potato. That's it. In America, it's 22 ingredients in it. What the fuck are the other 19 ingredients in? They won't even release that. You've got to dig to find out what's in that stuff. And it's just rancid shit, man. I'm telling you.
Yeah, it's unbelievable. I think one of the biggest crimes in America, at least, is the establishment of that food pyramid. You know, it's it's killing us slowly, day over day.
I mean, it really is. And then we've tied bad, poor diets to addiction, obviously. We've tied poor diet to Alzheimer's, which is just diabetes 3. We've tied all of that to these problems, and nobody wants to change them because there's too much money in where the health system is right now. There's too much money to be made, you know, and unless we stand up and go, we've had enough. You see, nobody cares about me. The pharmaceutical companies don't care. The big food companies, they don't care. They just want their food to last as long as possible before I buy it. Look, even apples. You can go into any supermarket anywhere in the world, especially in America. Let's call America. Any supermarket, I can guarantee you that them apples that you buy have been on the shelf for at least 8 to 12 months.
Oh, yeah, of course. You know, I read an interesting study about the UK, or FDA in the US, about what, to your point, what type of food is allowed in other territories, other nations and countries compared to the US. Well, if you think about it simplistically, a banana, right? A banana, the shipper has a choice to send this banana to the US or send it over to, London. The bruised banana goes to the US and the quality banana goes over to London. I mean, it's really interesting about how America, over 50% of us are obese.
Well, that 16% of breakfast cereals that we buy here banned in any other country, especially, you know, the Fruit Loops and the likes and the Lucky Charms and stuff. I mean, I get parents all the time coming to me. My kid, you know, is 8, 9, 10, 12, 14 years old, and he's had bad reports, can't keep still in class. He's not concentrating. Well, first of all, he's probably too intelligent that the class is boring to him. Secondly, what do you give him to breakfast? Well, we give him a Pop-Tart and then some cereal. So you're giving him, on average, 23 spoonfuls of sugar, and you expect him to go to school, sit down at the back, and be quiet.
But now he's got ADHD, right? And so the parents take him to the doctor because he's not just some anxious little boy who likes to have fun. He's fed up on sugar, and now consequently they give him a pill.
Exactly, and what happens to that? It changes the molecular rhythm and pattern in the brain. And this Adderall and Vyvanse and shit. The lawsuit is coming, guys. I was on a nationwide TV program some years ago with me and the head attorney of Purdue and one of their managers. And I'd give it to him. And they warned him, don't go on with this guy. This guy's crazy. Just don't go on with him. And we had a truth-to-truth talk. And the very next day, Purdue filed for bankruptcy. Now, I'm not saying I was the only one, but we've got to stand up to these guys. You've got to look at what you're eating. I'm not asking everyone to go out and go to Whole Foods and spend $900. I'm not doing that. What you got to do is, first of all, look as much as you can buy and live on it from the outside of the supermarket. But look at the rate. I got a health bar off the other day. I was doing a live TV thing in San Antonio, and it had 9 grams of protein and 0 fat. Who wouldn't buy that for the family? 9 grams of protein, no fat, guys. And then I turned it around on live TV, and there was 19 ingredients on that, and the first ingredient was canola. It's rancid, man. And we expect, we trust these guys, we trust the food industry, and it's why there's so many people sick right now, so many people getting different illnesses, stuff like that. And you go to the doctors, more medication, there's more profit for the food industry and the pharmaceutical companies. And then doctors are stood in the middle, especially general doctors, with 2 to 3 minutes per patient. Because everybody's at the doctor, because everybody's sick and no one gives a shit. There's not money in recovery stuff already.
Right. Yeah. And I think what we're talking about here is awareness and taking action, right? Because like I would not have any problem advising you how to eat, but I don't tell myself. I don't help myself. You know, I mean, it's no problem telling my kids. We have 2 little daughters. It's no problem saying, you know, girls, no sugar in the morning. Let's get some organic eggs going. But then when it comes to me looking myself in the mirror, I don't help myself. Do you have further insight into why it is that us human beings walking around this earth trying to keep our shoes clean, we simply don't treat ourselves the way we should? You know, treat ourselves like somebody like our best friend or our neighbor.
Yeah, childhood trauma. That's it. If you don't think you're good enough to lead the country, to make a change in life, to inspire human beings and to be that leader, I want to apologize to you because somebody's put that there. Babies are born with 2 fears: fear of falling and the fear of loud noises. That's it. The rest are man-made. So we carry all this shit through us, and because you were treated and something happened, many things happened to you here, which you don't think is trauma, by the way, but it is trauma. You come through and you make sure your kids don't follow you, so you're a chain breaker. But we have to lead by example. Like if I go anywhere on a professional for the government, somewhere, I have to dress accordingly. I'm not wearing like pink trousers and yellow shoes. You know, I have to take responsibility myself for my own health. I have to take responsibility that I am the leader of this house and I have to do this, because we get complacent and we jump back into the basal ganglia again, that you don't think you're worth it. Well, I don't need to do that because you're self-sabotaging. You can everybody can change the world who's listening to this right now. Everybody can. But we don't think we can because we don't think we're good enough. And all our health tips and stuff like that, we don't do. Okay? But we're going to tell other people to do because we don't think we're good enough. We've been hurt in the past. That my health doesn't really mean much to me. And I'm just going to go with the flow. And that's where genius are born, when they take the stand. Get out the comfort zone. You know something? I'm going to follow my own advice. I have to follow my own advice. Otherwise, what am I doing? I'm just being that crazy dad who don't really give a shit about him, who's probably going to be dead in 10 years' time. And his children are going to be like 18, 19 with no father. You have to look at the big picture. Every day we need to be leading by example. Every day we need to be, complimenting people. Every day we need to be happy. And, well, you can't be happy every day. Says who? Who's making these rules up? I don't fucking like these rules, guys. I'm making my own rules up. I'm happy every single day. Now, I have better days than others, but I have to lead by example. I'm telling you as a patient that you can be happy every day, and you need to, if I'm telling you all that, I need to be doing it because they need to look. I've just lost 157 pounds over the last 2 years because I did the same as you. I stopped caring about me. I had lots of money in the bank. I don't give a damn anymore. I'm not on TV anymore, so that's good. And then at the age of 60, I'm thinking, what a hypocrite. What a hypocrite, man. So I use the neuroscience that I teach. I watch what I eat, and 157 pounds lighter. I'm leading by example. So the stuff that me and you have been through, Eric, becomes our greatest asset. But if you haven't been through it, we can't use it as an asset, but we have to be that guy. Follow me home. Okay? Ask anybody around me. Most of the girls that work here, I've never made an inappropriate comment or anything like that. I get offers all the time when I speak, especially of 20-year-old girls. I don't know what the hell they see in me, probably the bank account, but you have to lead by example. How easy is it for me to say, oh, yeah, definitely. My ego has been burst when it's 23. Really? I have to lead. And that's the bad not the bad, but the hard part of this deal is you have to live by them rules.
Right.
Otherwise, people see through you as a fake.
Yeah, sure.
I never give my sobriety to date out, but I'm telling you this. One of the reasons is I don't count the days, how many days count. My 29-year-old sober sponsor took me on to put me some bookwork in, give me sleeping tablets in my coffee, and I woke up naked to me in bed the next day. There's your 29 years of sobriety. But you can tell straight away that I've got it going on.
Oh, without question.
So I don't have to brag about shit, you know?
No. Actions speak louder than the words, right? Talk is hollow, as I've learned throughout these years. We're both in recovery. We've both been through a lot, and I love what you just said. It's so positive. But to the person, to kind of push on that just a little bit, to the person who's saying, where do I start? You know, like Doc Kelly, that all sounds great. Yes, we can achieve anything that we put our mind to if I take action to it. And I don't care what anybody says right now, but where do we start? Like, where's step one when somebody comes in to see you and they pass that first test of, are you ready? And you qualified them as yes. Maybe it may be a soft yes, but they're qualified. And there's so much to do. What's your first little nugget of, well, we start here? Because otherwise it can seem, it's just overwhelming to the person who's in the throes of this tyranny.
You have to watch your internal dialogue. That's where it starts. So my thought pattern to an internal dialogue becomes a working part of the brain. So if I drop a pen on the floor, I'm not a stupid idiot. If somebody said, do you want to go for that job? I don't think I can. All that stuff that we do, we want to speak to our worst enemies the way we speak to ourselves. So that's the first thing. So internal dialogue becomes an internal action and then an outside action, but part of the brain is taking that on board. You know, so you've got to start being kind to yourself. You've got to stop putting the brakes on your imagination. Never say, well, I'm going to start. No, I'm going to start. I'm going to complete. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. It's all about action and thought patterns of being kind to yourself. You know, right now, if you don't think you have the right body you want, God thinks you do. Your higher power, your Uncle Jimmy up there thinks you do. If you want to do something about it, do it. But listen, guys, you don't have time. Everyone thinks they have time. So our research on time with elderly in hospice, they came up with one generalized answer to what you learn in life. And the answer was, I thought I had more time. You don't have more time. So from the internal dialogue from day one, you will be different. You walk out this up. If you're seeing a therapist for 6 months, what are they doing? I don't know. I don't want to cause any rush here. Oh yeah, of course I do. You can recover overnight. And you start the internal dialogue straight thing when you're there. When you start being kind to yourself. You must always be hard on yourself and considerate of others, but you've got to start being kind to yourself. And then what happens is the people are not kind for themselves. You might get this, Eric. When somebody gives you a compliment, be like, oh, new shoes. Oh, I'll just throw them on. Oh, nice job. Oh, yeah. Oh, good job. Yeah. We can't accept it.
Yeah.
And the reason we can't accept that is the things I've just talked about. You know, the internal dialogue. You should be the king of your kingdom. No matter how small or big it is, you should believe that you can achieve anything you want to achieve. Now, if you knew how the mind works, really knows how it works, mind over matter, mind over the brain is taking advice of the mind first thing in the morning. So what we believe is what happens, because the brain will take that on and run with that. The brain doesn't know the difference between the true and the false. So if you're saying by this time next year, I'm going to be a millionaire, if you truly believe that and take the steps to do that, starting with the internal dialogue, you will become. So again, what's the research behind that, Rob? What are you hanging around with as well? We went into a school many years ago in England, a little school, and we said to the headmaster, he kind of knew who we were. We said, hey, listen, we got this test that we'll bring into your kids, ages, I don't know, 8 to 11, I can't remember. And they'll fill the test in, and the next day we'll tell you the top 3 people top 3 kids that's going to become captains of industry, go to the best colleges. And he said, well, yeah, of course we'd be interested in that. So we came back the next day after when everyone did the test, we took them away, came back. And we said, okay, we've got 3 names for you. And it's brilliant. Johnny? What? John? Yeah. Okay then. Billy? Okay. And Jane? Oh, maybe. Are you sure? 100% sure, headmaster. These are the three that's going to have college offers and captains of industry, and they're going to lead the world and the country and stuff. These three are the guys. Okay, then. So we went away, and a year to the date, we went back again. How's our three kids? Oh, my God. Teacher said, we've been trying to get hold of you because this has blown our minds, man. This got to be taken to the government. I don't know what tests you give them, but this is a game changer. And he said, can you explain how you did it? I said, well, of course we can. As soon as he left with the papers, we threw them in the trash, and we randomly picked three kids, and we told you that they were going to be absolute geniuses. And because you treated them like geniuses, so they become. It's a true story. It's the same with life. Show me your friends, I'll show you your future. You don't want to hang around the guys that are doing less than, who've got no dreams. You don't want to hang around the guys that are not validating you and lifting you up every freaking day, and vice versa. You don't want to hang around the guy. If you're earning 40 grand a year, you want to earn 80, hang around the guys that do 80, because their actions will transform to you. Well, show me the research behind that, Dr. Robb. And we did it. Yeah. We had 9 patients in the waiting room that were all actors. They were paid to come into the waiting room, act like patients, and one by one we call them in. But there was a deal. One of the girls, number 10, was a real patient. So she didn't know what was going to happen. We told the actors, we're going to press the buzzer every 45 seconds. And when that happens, I want you to stand up, count 5, sit back down again. Everyone agreed. Patient come in, sat down. 10 people in there. 9 people stood up. 5 seconds later, he sat down again. The woman kind of glanced, went back to her phone. Everyone stood up. Now she's looking around, and she's not even looking at the phone. On the third buzzer, which is about 3 minutes in, she stood up with the rest of the people. And she sat down with everybody, which is cool, yeah? So now we transferred a lot to you. What they do, I'm going to do. Monkey see, monkey do. But what's really important, Eric, is as we called them in as patients one by one, she was left in the waiting room on her own. She stood up.
Interesting.
So the people around you have an effect on you. You can't change 9 people. 9 people can change you, because you start acting like your friends around you. You start acting to that level. So either you're gonna lift up to their level, or you're gonna go down to their level. The choice is yours.
Yeah. I love the way you said that too, because that reminds me of a study that I reviewed in corporate America, where if you're an underperformer, but you sit in proximity to a high achiever, a high performer, your bottom line results go up, your performance goes up. And then conversely, right, if you're a high performer and you sit next to somebody who's barely hanging on for their job, let's say, who's quiet quitting, your performance goes down as well.
That's cool. He's hanging around the bad kids. Get him out of there. Learn behavior and investment from our people around is kill. It'll either kill you or lift you up to be more than you ever thought, which you can be. So years ago when I said this, and I don't give a shit about politics, I've told you, but years ago when I said that, the first thing that people would say back to me is, I can say you can do anything in the world, man. And they would snap back, well, I can't be president of the United States. Let's forget your political views for a second. We had a freaking business and we're in the country for 4 years with no political experience whatsoever. Don't dare tell me you can't achieve your dreams. That's not true. Somebody's put that.
Yeah, right. Somebody else unilaterally and subjectively anchored that their position on your shoulder, and it stays there until you believe it. It's integrated inside of you. I resonate with that as well, because I went to a private all boys Catholic high school, where what I thought and what I believed was irrelevant. I was forced to go to the church, and I'm a believer in a very different way now that I'm on the other side of addiction and in recovery. But those early years that form us with adults and your peers, it's very well said, because as we go through life and we age up, let's say, we're still a baby. We can still be a baby, yet in adult form. And what we say in the sports world with these athletes that are younger is, you never want to be the best player on your team. You always want to be kind of right in the middle, because you need the confidence. And a lot of people think confidence can be just granted to you. that's confidence is established through experience, through the action of the choices you make and the path that you truck along and choose the right split in the road. But you always want to have people around you that are better than you, so you can have an aim, right, to upwards. So I guess that leads me to if we could just touch on this, like create an avatar here, a 40-year-old man with a family, and he finds himself drinking too much, and he's different in the home than he is out with his coworkers and with his buddies, and his wife may see that, right? He's much more outgoing and stuff. And then she says to him in the home, like, why aren't you this way with me? And he has all these trials and tribulations, responsibilities and accountabilities for that middle-aged high performer. And what they do for a living is many ways irrelevant. Somebody who's broken midlife, I'm sure you see this with your practice. I mean, like, you're global with your practice. You're at the top of the game here. Do you still go back into the childhood at the
100%.
beginning?
100%.
Okay.
That's what's causing it. The couple of things we need to look at with that question is first of all, people with childhood trauma stay in relationships way too long. So if you're going home every night and it's changing into depressing, you're walking around on eggshells, you need another wife. If you go to the job every day and on Sunday night you got that feeling this is working, you need another job. Well, it isn't that easy. It is that easy. So, we have children. Research shows that when two parents live together under a battlefield, depression, walking on eggshells, they grow up differently and get into trouble. When two parents separate and they have two happy parents, the environment becomes a lot better and they achieve. So you've got to look at that first of all. Why does your mood change? Why are you not 100% happy? Why are you not performing 100%? And then again, you need to start talking to somebody, make sure you pick the right person who gets you through that. Everybody goes, at my midlife crisis, I bought a $250,000 car. And you know what my wife said? Everyone said, geez, he's bought that car, Janet. What? And she always says this jokingly, it's better than it's more cheaper than a 22-year-old blonde. You recognize that you're going through it. You recognize that there's another way out. You recognize when you go if I walk into a room now with 10 people in there with a frown on my face, they're all going to frown back. If I walk in there with a smile on my face, they're all going to smile back. So look at your working brand, look at your homing brand. What can you take home to the wife and kids every night? Well, I've been working for 10 hours. You're supposed to fucking work. Fucking father. You're supposed to provide. Get away from that shit. Stop giving yourself all the end. No, you're a man. Get to work, provide for your children, go on. I don't give a shit how tired you are. You go on and you enhance, you excite, you get these kids and wife around you and get excited. And I'll tell you something that's 100% true, that when you walk in with a smile on the wife will change. Okay. And because the wife's changed, the children will change. We've done this so many times. I've forgotten how many times we've done this with people that come in. Because when dad comes on with all the pressure in the world, he's obviously changed. He's not out with his mates. He's not having a few drinks. He's back under pressure with the family because he's bad, she's bad, because she's bad, the kids are bad. Here's the deal. If you don't think you can change the world, guys, try this. Next time you're in a bill of pair of people, sneakers are always the best. What you say, 2 words. If you see somebody coming towards you with sneakers, 2 words, man. You're about to change the world in 2 words. Okay? Nice sneakers. He'll go, oh, thank you, man. Watch him walk away from. It's going to look down at the sneakers at least 2 or 3 times. Now you've changed his whole way. But when he goes home to the wife or girlfriend, because he's in a good mood, now she's in a good mood, then the mother-in-law calls and you get the gist. You've just changed a bunch of people's lives. And that's how easy it can be. So when you go home to the family, you can't go home or, oh, what about this? Stop that shit, guys. All girls, if that be the case. The home is your sanction. The home should be the happiest place in the world. And if it's not, you need to change it, guys. You need to get another wife, get another husband, get another... This is your life we're talking about. Why are you going with this sheep? What? Well, this is the way it's supposed to... Says who? Who's making these... I don't like these rules. Well, me and Janet had an argument 2 days into our marriage. And I said, you know something, Janet, I'm not doing this again. And she said, well, that's the way marriage is. And I said, says who? And we both stared at each other and went, we're going to change it. We're going to change the rules of marriage. We're going to dance in the bathroom every morning. We're going to throw shit at each other, especially when I'm on live TV. She'll throw a shoe at me or something. We're going to laugh. We're going to dance in the bathroom. We're going to do anything we want because it's my life and I can make the rules up. See, you can't tell me how to act. You can't tell me today how happy I am. It's none of your business. What you think of me is none of my business. And when you get to a point that you really don't give a shit what people think about you, that's freedom. Because people say they don't. Oh, Jimmy said, yeah, I don't care. It hurts, man. And it dives straight into the roots. Sticks and stones will break your bones, but words will never hurt me. It's totally wrong. Words can kill us, man. Got to start doing that work. Got to start leading. You know, smiling people every day. Oh, Rob's in again. He's smiling. You know something? Give it a few days. They'll smile back at you. And they don't even know they're doing it. Now you just change the world again. And this is what it's about. Like, I don't think I'm a leader. Bullshit, you don't. Shut up. I don't think you're the freaking leader. Everybody can be leaders. You know, oh, I've not drank now for a year. You're supposed to not fucking drink. You've got a family and kids. You don't get any rewards for not drinking. What's wrong with you? You know, get around a bunch of people, inspire people on a daily basis. Call somebody up if you're feeling down. Hey, Jimmy, God, Rob, I've not heard from you for 3 years. I know, man. I just thought I'd call you. And you know what he'll say? Oh, my God, it's weird. You should call right now. They all say that. Now you just changed the world. Stop waiting for somebody to come and knock at the door, guys and girls, and go, hey, I got $1 million job for you. I've got a lot. No, nobody's going to do it. Nobody's coming, guys. So take action, but take action today. Stop giving a shit about people. Nobody cares. When I used to walk into a room where I could close the door, everybody used to look over to me. And they'd all start talking. I thought they were talking about me. They've got shit going on themselves. I'm not that important. Nobody cares about me when it comes down to it, apart from close family and friends. Nobody cares, you know, but we think we do. Childhood trauma. We think we're not good enough. Childhood trauma. We don't think we can achieve childhood trauma. You know, and when I say before that I have something, I have enough. Does that mean I can sit back? No. Holy shit, no. I could be on an island somewhere now with everything. I don't have to work again as long as I live. Why do I keep doing it? Because if I don't, I'm going to die. The day you retire from work, the day you retire from a marriage, the day you retire from looking after and nurturing your kids, the day you fucking die. Now take that away with you guys. Stop being little shit and get up and be the man you're supposed to be or the woman you're supposed to be, man. You've got to do it. People will get inspired by you. That's what I do. I do it. I spent an hour on my price is probably $1,250 an hour. That's fucking insane. Okay. I don't know the guys that do. I don't know. But I spend an hour on TikTok every morning inspiring people. Do I have to do that? No. Am I getting paid off that? No. Does it really inspire me and feed me? Yeah, it does. It really does. And people will say, oh my God, I've just looked at you. You're famous. And I don't give a shit about that. You can take all the money and fame away from me, man. You put me in a tent in the middle of the field with my wife, 3 English bulldogs and my cat, and I'm just as happy now. And then it's the same thing. I'm not tied to anything material. I'm not tied to what you think about me.
Yeah, that's very well said. You know, when I was going through my self-imposed tyranny and malevolence, I had to come to grips and fully understand that until I could be vulnerable, which is courageous, because my whole life, man, I'm 6'5". I'm an athlete, and that whole vulnerability piece, I think, especially for men, I didn't even know how to access it. Everything was up in my head, like you said before, that inner dialogue, you know, and it's not a positive feedback loop either. You know, that's the other way around. It's a negative feedback loop, and you just go further down into the abyss. But I came to realize for myself that, like, love and sacrifice and accountability and responsibility equal the adventure of life. We've all been called to have the adventure of life. And also with the airplane model too, that always stings me in the head is, if the plane's going down, put the mask on yourself first. Because that's the only way that I can feel that I can be there for others that I love and others that I care for and my community and the world collectively. We have an obligation, a moral obligation and a duty to love and to be sacrificial in nature. And a lot of us don't get the chance to find that out because we hit the bottle, we do the drug, we're hooked on X, Y, and Z, and we die. you know?
Listen, guys, 300 neural pathways die every day in the brain. What are you replacing them with? That's the key to being amazing. What are you replacing with? The same old shit, with the same old trauma and the thought patterns of self-sabotage and not being good enough and not being tall enough. I'll never be rich enough, blonde enough, tall enough, or, that kind of attitude. It's like, you've got to stop that shit, guys. You've really got to realize who you are. You really got to realize how much power you really have, because you do, guy. I'm telling you, you can do anything you want to do, man. I'm begging you to believe this, man. I've got 30 years. I'm 63 years old. I don't fucking look 63 years old. I definitely don't act it. I'm in the gym this morning, squatting with the best of them kids at 6 a.m., man. I don't give a shit. I don't talk about age. When I talk about why. It's nothing. You can achieve anything you want to do, and you have to start having self-belief about that. Nobody's going to take you by the hand and go, hey, Johnny, I want you to lead these people. We don't do that. You're on your own. You've got to step forward and hang around people like Eric, like me, like other like-minded people who get up every day and go to kill it every day, no matter what happens. I have a friend, you say something to me, oh, the problem is, fucking problem. Why do you keep saying that? There's no problem. Stop putting childhood trauma. Stop thinking everything is a problem. Everything is hard. Nothing's hard. It's my perception. Well, stop drinking is really hard. What? No, it's not. Or taking drink. No, it's not. It's you being lazy. It's you not getting the knowledge and the information. Another reason I keep doing this, I'm sick to death of watching people die from lack of information on how powerful you are and how you conduct in life. I'm sick to death of it. So I will keep going till I'm 100 with the message. Stop giving a shit. Start exploring new routes. Start being happy start practicing smiling every day. That's a killer, because you have to remind yourself and you realize how many times you don't smile. You walking around with a bitch face all the time. It's not serving anybody, man, especially you, because you're walking around that face. People do that. I used to do this meeting years ago, and people would never come up to me. And I'm like, I said to my sponsor, what's going on? Everyone hates me in here. No, you hate yourself. You don't believe they'll come up to you because you think you're high and mighty. Just because you were on TV yesterday morning and they've seen you on you don't think that's why. No way. So I started to believe that, I'm worthy and man, and all the friends came around, shook my hands. They also kind of didn't want to approach you, Rob, because you had that, like, really, I'll punch you in the face look at you. Nobody else is going to tell you that. But here on this show, stop it. Stop feeling sorry for you. Well, we have a disease. It's not your fault. You got a disease, man. I'm telling you that. God bless you. I've been there myself. Homelessness. I died twice on the streets in Manchester. I get it. I've lost all my children. I get it, man. I get it. There's a way out, and you need to do it, man. And what are the gifts from that? Well, after 30 years, Eric, and guys at home, my eldest daughter, because they kept taking off me at ages 1 and 3. Last thing my daughter said to me was, Daddy, please stop drinking. And a month later, I was homeless. I'd do it. She called me. She messaged me, on Messenger, 3 o'clock in the morning, because the time difference between UK and here. And she said, hey, Dad, call me Dad, guys. Hey, Dad, I've seen you on TV. I don't believe what everyone's telling about me. I want to see you. And you come over. Text back, we'll be there in 12 hours. Within minutes, we've got chauffeur coming. We're off to the airport. We get over there. And I'm stood outside the door with all this experience. And I went to pieces, man. What kind of father are you? You walked out on your kids, blah, blah, blah. I was just about to start crying, and she opened the door, man, and we hugged, and we laughed, and we loved it, crying. 5 minutes on the doorstep, my wife was there, and she was crying. And my daughter took hold of my hand. This is after everything I've done for everybody else. I do it aggressively. We give hundreds of thousands of dollars away every year. 25% of our work is all this stuff that I've done. And she walked me into a living room, Eric, and she handed me my 3-month-old. It's right there and then, and you was doing right. And then 4 weeks ago, my youngest daughter got in contact with me, going over to see her. See, we get through this shit, man, because there's a job for us to do. God's taken us through this trip. My homelessness, I hated everybody for that, including God and any other God. There's 3,500 gods. Fucking pick one. That's what my sponsor said. But you know, when I look back now, that 14 months on the streets was like a semester at Harvard University. Because the stuff I've learned that I use today about going forward is everything you have lost. If you want them, we see all the time, wives coming back to people, and they don't want them back. You want to step into a new lifestyle. They can't be around that person anymore. But everything you've lost, if you do the right thing, and I say, if you work with people, everything we talked about on the show, you'll get everything back, man. I'm telling you, you'll get everything back because that's the way the universe works. Only when you've finished your work, only can you sit back and go, you know something, like when the grandchildren, doing something right, man, because I've just been rewarded with the greatest gift of my life. So when I say money, was my deal, if I could just come from the projects, very poor, I had to fight my way on the streets, mean streets on Lost Side, Manchester, flight pay route with lights, really, really rough, When I come through all that, and I've been through everything I've been, and sorted my childhood trauma out, and I'm inspiring others, and I have a life beyond my wildest freaking dreams. This is it, man. The universe takes you, and he puts you out like this. How the hell can I have a bad day? I have better days than others, but how the hell can I have a bad day? Oh, man. This is the addiction industry that I'm in. And I know for a fact that God has put me in charge and thousands of others in charge of the recovery department. And I will do this to the day I die because, I believe in God. I never used to, but there's too many things happen. I don't go to Bible study. I don't do church. I don't do AA anymore. I just believe there's a God. But when I get to heaven, and the pearly gates open and stand in front of God, you know what he's not going to ask me, Aaron? How much is that house? How much is the car you drove? Oh my God, you wear some crazy expensive. It's not going to ask me that, man. It's going to ask me one fucking question. How many people did you help, Rob? How many people did you save, Rob? And did you feel it when people compliment you that you've done a great job? Do you feel it? And I want a big number. I want a real big number, Eric.
Well, Dr. Robb Kelly, thank you for coming on this show, brother. I will tell you, I found you early on in my recovery, and I did not know what my life was going to look like moving forward. I followed you. I feel blessed and grateful to be able to speak to you today. And you are a leader in the space. You are helping as many people as you can. And I wish you the best moving forward. And this is absolutely fantastic to have you on here today and share your wisdom with the world and continue to build your side of the bridge, clean your side of the street. I wish you the very best moving forward. We will be staying in touch, I hope, God willing. And thank you.
Thank you, man. Bye, guys. Thank you so much.